Uh, Live. What's good, party people? This is the Woods and Wade podcast. I'm according to Woods. She's Claudia Wade, and this is the Woods and Wade podcast. And tonight we're talking about music, man. Music is the rhythm of the soul, the rhythm of the night. The rhythm of the night is actually a
The
song,
rhythm of the night.
right? Exactly. But yeah, like music, man. Like I've always been able to um not judge, but like I could like if I could ask you like what your favorite song is or whatever, I could get a little bit of the sense of the person you are. In musical taste. I mean, that was m- the most evident where like my son had a substitute teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what happened was his original teacher, she went on maternity leave. So they had like a substitute for the rest of the year, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we went into the parent teacher conference with my wife and I. We went into the parent teacher conference with this teacher that had only been teaching our kid probably about 2 weeks at that point. And I was like, man, I guarantee you she's like a indie, like hipster rock chick. Like she likes the Shins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's talking to us and whatever. And the school has like this little biography and what have you, right? Like like the teacher, and the teacher writes what they're into and whatever. And it was like
Right.
favorite color, favorite whatever. And I shit you not, favorite band, The Shins. And I looked at my wife and I was like, told you, told you. Looks like a chick at the fucking with her fucking messenger bag and her chucks and her corduroy pants and sweater vests at a fucking Shins concert. You hipster.
I don't think I have a favorite band.
Do you not?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I like a lot of different music
Yeah.
and a lot of different genres. And I can listen to the hell out of a song
Right.
and then move on to
Okay.
listening to the hell out of a different song and so on and so on. But
Okay.
I don't
I
like
mean
I
that.
don't
I mean, different strokes, different folks, right?
yeah.
Um, Mick Mac
Which got
says,
me
"I love
thinking when
this."
you asked me, I was like, I don't know. I
Wow.
don't think I
Okay.
have a.
Well, Mick Mac says, "I love the song Eagle Rock," and most people I know think I'm crazy. Now you're saying Eagle Rock. I live maybe a stone's throw, pardon the pun, Eagle Rock Stone right over. But I live not too far from Eagle Rock, California. It's an unincorporated city. Well, it's not even a city. It's a part of northeastern Los Angeles, in between Glendale and Pasadena. Yeah,
Hmm.
and like on the freeway, you could see a rock that looks like the head of an eagle. That's the name Eagle Rock. So I'm not sure of the song, but I know Eagle Rock. Eagle Rock in this part of my neighborhood means something different. Yeah, but kudos to Eagle Rock. Stuck in the middle with you. Yeah. Eh, I I got the rhythm in my head. I'm not gonna bear sing it because I'm gonna bleed your bleed your ear holes. That's what
Go
I feel
ahead.
like. Yeah, it's my
Go
my
ahead. Bleed my my ear hole.
yeah. That also doesn't sound great because consent is always sexy. Anywho, so yeah. Well, first off, like, what was your first kind of music memory? Like, did you hear a song as a kid? Is there something your parents listened to? Like, what is your first?
Yeah, definitely my parents. We are from El Salvador, came here from El Salvador. And so they used to listen to a lot of American music.
Okay,
And so I was born in the 80s. And
two.
my dad, yeah, but you're born like later in the 80s.
Yeah,
Ooh, excuse me.
Reagan was president.
Yeah. Okay.
Just saying.
But so my dad, there were a lot of disco music in my house. So
Okay.
the Bee Gees, Casey and the Sunshine Band,
Yeah, yeah.
ELO, I like, Queen, like anything that had to do with that music. Like my dad was one of those people that you couldn't sleep in on the weekends.
Okay.
So my dad would wake up on the weekends at like 7 in the morning, and all you hear is like you're over here listening to the Bee Gees at 7 in the morning to wake you up, and he'd come and bust open the doors and wake up, it's time to clean. There's no time to sleep. So we would have to like wake up and clean to like the Bee Gees, Staying Alive, and Electrolyte. Like my dad was one of those people. He was very strict, but like we listened to all of that. So I was really, Journey, like all of that. And so I think that's how they also kind of learned how to speak English, is by listening to all that kind of music. Which on the flip side, I learned how to speak Spanish by listening to their music, like the Spanish music, because I couldn't speak Spanish for a very long time. So yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Um,
Spanish is my second language.
okay, right on.
I speak Spanish really terribly. Well, I think better now because I have to interact with my family in El Salvador more, and then we have family members here that don't speak English, so it's gone a lot better than it was before.
Okay, yeah, that works. Micmac. Well, first off, the movement said your yawning made him yawn. 0 out of 10
Sorry.
stars. And Micmac says Elton John uh, got named Crocodile Rock from that song. Oh, from the Eagle Rock. Okay, got it.
Oh,
Um, yeah. I
sorry.
love the in Crocodile Rock. I dig the na, 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 the that's all I can kind of vocalize and verbalize or what have you. Uh, I will listen to that song just for that like piano interlude. It's to me it's crazy, but you attributed like your dad and the Bee Gees and then cleaning on a weekend. I would not like that at all.
That's
Like
how we did, bro. Like
cleaning, and
seriously.
I was just like, I hate my life, and I'm not
Yeah,
the
totally.
cleanest person. Yeah, I guess. So I mean,
My dad's like,
I bathe.
well, I mean, you've been to our house, right? Like everything's kind of like we have a big house and it's hard to keep clean.
Yeah,
So
no,
I'm
100%.
constantly cleaning, and it's like even if when was it? My dad came home from his trip Monday. So Monday morning, I was up at 5 a.m. and I was done spot cleaning the entire house by 8:30.
Okay.
So I had headphones in my ear, music blasting, cleaning from head to toe, and then just at 5 in the morning.
Jesus. Yeah, no. Like, no, not at all. Like, I
I'm
wouldn't have
sorry,
it.
I'm yawning. I only
No.
yawn when we start the podcast because I don't yawn prior to.
She's saying
Weird.
I bore the shit out of her, folks. That's
Yeah,
what happens.
sometimes.
And McMack says, "Do you like the song Come A Said the Boy from Mondo Rock?" I No,
I don't know
I've
that
never
song.
even know that at all. Um, no, but I
I want to
know
know how old Big Mac is. That's what I want to know.
872 because it's his birthday today.
Got it.
Yeah, 100%. Which it'll also be his birthday tomorrow and three
Right.
weeks from now, also
Right.
3 weeks
Right.
before today,
Got it.
and every day in between. So shout out to McMack and his
No.
birthday. I'm just saying.
Today is my nephew's birthday. He's 12 today.
Oh, I thought it was Saturday.
No, his actual birthday is today.
Oh, okay.
And we're
Right on.
celebrating it on Saturday.
Well, happy birthday to the young lad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy birthday to Mr. Andrew.
Andrew. Man, he's
Yeah.
a intelligent gent. This is all they got last week, and he was like, having an act like conversation.
An
And
adult Actually, that was Alexander, the one you were speaking
no,
to.
no, but Drew was there.
Oh,
Drew
you had
was,
a conversation with Andrew as
yeah,
well?
both of them. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you had left, and then I was talking to Alexander or whatever, but like in the between time when you were doing your stuffs, yeah, Andrew was talking, which I feel like yeah, man, like do they have a high school version of the school that they go to? Because like it's on point for sure.
They are pretty smart kids. They also love music.
Yeah, that might be it.
And the oldest one, see, I love going to concerts,
Okay.
and I realized I only like going to concerts with my nephew.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah. So I took my nephew to his first concert at 7.
Okay, what band was that?
We went to go see Blink 182.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And for months, we were like, is this a good idea? Is it not a good idea? Because he used to play Rock Band,
Oh yeah, yeah, the video
and
game.
yeah, the video game. We used to play Rock Band on Xbox 360. And he loved playing all the Blink 182
Songs. Yeah,
songs.
yeah,
So that got him into Blink 182, and then listening to the albums and listening to it on Spotify. And so that's all he wanted to listen to. Then Blink 182 came to LA, and my husband's like, I don't think it's a good idea. It's too much bad words. I was like, should be fine. Like, I don't know. So
yeah.
until the last minute, I waited to buy tickets.
Wow. Okay.
And I bought tickets for him, and I surprised him. And we get to our seats, and he's like awed by everything.
Yeah.
And I think this is what, like, why I love music, is because going to a concert, it's like the greatest. I think everyone needs to go to at least one concert, even if
Yeah.
it's like a park concert, right? Just the experience of being in presence of live music, it's amazing. But this kid, we went to concerts like twice a year,
Wow. Okay.
at least for like a couple of years. And so he likes all kinds of music as well. Like, he's just like, we don't stop them from listening to music.
That's
So
brilliant.
I try to make sure, like, they were into the Beatles at one point.
Okay.
And I was
Right on.
like, dude, like, okay, let's move to the next generation.
Okay. Right on. I mean,
So
you like what you like. No, it's
yeah.
it's funny that you mentioned that, right? Because a couple things kind of like spoke out to me. First off, the way that we interpret music,
Hmm.
right? The way that we enjoy music is different. You were saying like how he became aware of what and who Blink 182 was from a video game where he
Right.
could kind of play to it, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, it's button mashing rather than,
And
learning
stream,
chords, but
yeah.
you're still doing the thing, right?
Hmm.
Um, so, because I know when I was his age or what have you, there was actually, I mean, I want to say like eight. I remember like CDs and the
Hmm.
CD jackets, right? And that
Hmm.
had the liner notes and whatever. And that's how you would find out who played with who
Of
and
who?
whatever. And if you
Hmm.
saw this one particular, especially like R&B albums, I feel like because
Hmm.
with rock albums, unless like somebody I don't know, like had a drug problem or whatever, the band that you saw, right?
He's
If
who
you
you
went to go
saw.
see Whitesnake, if you went to go see Journey or whatever, right? The
Hmm.
band that you saw in the video versus and the one that you saw on the tour would also be the person who played on the album or that played on the album and then went on the tour, unless
Right.
there's some sort of infighting or whatever, right? And then even
Hmm.
a generation before that was like cassette type, right? And
Right.
then then records, and then old 45s. And if you're hearing, I didn't even know about like
Eight
the
tracks.
oh yeah, 8 tracks was in between
Hmm.
records and tape.
Cassettes.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't even figure this out or know this, but over in the UK, when you bought a 45 inch record, which would essentially be a single, right? Like
Right.
you heard the song on the radio, and then you went and paid however many dollars. I don't even think it was like dollars
It
I
had
think
to be sense.
yeah, it had to be Sense, right? Um, but even with a single, you would have some sort of, the sticker that with the
Hmm.
in the middle with the person who played the record, who person who wrote the
Hmm.
song, and some sort of like little artwork. And then if
Right.
you got the jacket, also you would at least see a picture of the artist or whatever picture that they put to that particular single, right?
Hmm.
Um, Over in the UK, England specifically, you would go into a record shop and you would just basically see that 45 album, and it just had a plain white jacket,
Hmm.
there's nothing descript or whatever, and it was very sterile, right? And the reason why I know this is like Richard Branson, the guy from Virgin and what have you. I read a bit of his biography, right? And
Hmm.
he basically changed the way that not just British and the UK music fans interpreted music and the experience of buying an album, but
Hmm.
I mean the world at large, because he was like this college kid who set up uh, bands to tour in his college camp. Like Virgin actually started out as like a college magazine, and he was the editor and writer and what have you. And then, when he would get, people to play at the college because of, the magazine or whatever, what would happen is I was like, oh man, like I have this magazine, and then the band's tour or whatever, and then like
Hmm.
the next step would be like have a record store and what have you, and different types of music it would be featured. But rather than just like have a record store like everyone else, how about like I put beanbag chairs, so and listening stations, so
Right.
people hear the album before they actually buy
Mm.
it, whatever.
Buy it.
That had never happened over there to that extent, and that is the formula, like Warehouse Music and FYE and Tower Records, a generation or two after the fact. That's how they got to be.
Hmm. Yep, that's awesome. I used to. I think that was my one of my favorite things is going to the record store and going, through the records and just, fighting instead of just looking it up on Spotify. Like, the experience was going, getting your record, getting your CD, whatever, and listening to it and then taking it home.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's funny. The other thing that you were kind of talking about is like the live experience, right? To um for me, like I always had live music. My dad was a musician, a
Hmm.
street performer, so like concert, that's kind of a foreign concept to me, because like everything that my dad did was
A concert.
live. It wasn't in a theater or anything like that, but it was on Fisherman's Wharf in the Bay Area and what have you, and
Hmm.
that's where he played, and not just that, but Ghirardelli Square right after, right? And yeah, man, like everything was live, and that's even how I kind of listen to music now, right? Is like I'll
Right.
hear a song in the radio, and then or even just like flipping it on whatever streaming app that I'm on or whatever, right? And what I'll do is I'm like, oh, I love that song, right? And then what I'll do is jump over to YouTube and do it. And if there's a live, depending on how recent the song was, right? Because maybe there isn't a live version of it,
Version of it.
right?
Uh huh.
Um, but I have to have more instruments. Like no drum machines, no whatever. I want somebody to be playing the drums,
Hmm.
somebody to be playing the guitar, somebody to actually sing or whatever. When I don't I don't have that, like I don't enjoy the music as much. And I know that makes me a bit of
Mm.
a snob.
I
I
know. I think it's. I mean, it's a good preference to have, right? Because kids nowadays, they're not used to the live. They're not used to the instruments. They're used to the boop and the background comes on, and then you have one person in the front with a guitar because he knows how to play the guitar. But other than that, there's no band. And I think the experience of going to watch a band, and I think this is why I won't go watch a rap and I won't go do R&B unless there will be a, unless it's an R&B group that has a live band. But I won't go to a rap concert for sure, because there's no band, right? There's no band, and then so like we went to go see Blink. We went to see. I took both my nephews to Winnie Rose, right? Or not to Winnie. Is that the one for the summer and for K Rock? Is it Winnie Rose? Yeah, they
Yeah.
went to
So for those who don't know, right? If you grow up, in Southern California, we have KROQ, K Rock, right?
yeah,
Not to be confused with the KROCK over in New York, right? But K Rock basically puts on two big like shows, right?
yeah,
One in the summer, one in the winter.
one in
The
the winter.
winter one is the almost acoustic Christmas, right? And
Hmm.
then the K Rock
The
Weenie Roast
Winnie
is the
Rose.
is the one in the summer. So
Yeah.
that would be the
So
one, right?
each festival, because it's a festival, has, I don't know, minimum 10 bands, if that, right? So I took my nephews to go see that, and like I love the experience of them following each note, right? Like, oh, the drummer's over there. Oh, now I hear this. So like the whole looking for the sound, right? And how they're playing and how these drums are played, and like just how everything comes together. It's like amazing to see them, and which is why I love going to rock concerts, because you get a whole band. And so, have you been to? I'm pretty sure you've been to a regular concert, right? Not like just your dad's.
Oh, I mean, so
Do you
like
go to concerts?
it's weird. Like I said, because it was my dad's job, right? So,
Hmm.
like, when you have a notable, touring act and what have you, it would
Hmm.
essentially be, that person would play, a tour, 16 dates all over, the U.S. or the world or
Right.
whatever, right? My dad played, you know, literally like what a tour would be. He played in what 2 weeks, right? 16 dates or whatever, because he would
Hmm.
play, you know, I mean, he would do like an hour, take a break, another hour for 12 hours, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from
Hmm.
even before I was born, like 84 to 92. So eight
Right.
years doing that, right? And touring on, just the same album, or even just, him and his, saxophone player, because it was just, it's contemporary jazz, right? So dad on the keyboard. And then he usually had a saxophone player on either was, like the synthesizer or saxophone. And it was just the two of them. And they just, feel kind of a vibe, as the kids say nowadays. And
Hmm.
yeah, and they would just jam out, so um there was that. But then I remember going to, because we lived in Marin County, California, right? So you were talking about like Journey and what have you. Those guys
Hmm.
still live there, and to this day, Metallica, right? Like where
Right.
Metallica
That's one
HQ.
band I have not seen.
Oh, I've never. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Metallica at all, but I mean, the
Hmm.
tickets are ridiculous.
But I would love to.
Would you?
Yeah,
Huh. Okay,
definitely. Like I want to see Corn.
I saw
They still
them.
play.
Want to say Family Values at the Forum.
Mm.
That was because what ended up happening is there was, yeah, the first Family Values. It was a corn concept, right? So like
Hmm.
all of their friends and what have you. Um, and they that all alternative rock, what, or rap metal, whatever,
Hmm.
whatever you want to call that genre of music, with like bands like you know Corn and Limp Bizkit and POD and
Mhm.
there's Soulflies, like all of those bands, right? They were kind of shunned by the mainstream. Like I wouldn't say mainstream metal because metal wasn't what you would consider mainstream. You wouldn't find like a Pantera on the radio or what have you,
Right.
right? But they were shunned by a lot of like sometimes the hip hop guys, but then later
Mhm.
embraced by the hip hop guys, but definitely shunned by the metal community. And then like what is it, like what was going on in regular top 40 radio was like
Right.
Spice Girls and
All pop.
yeah, exactly. So I remember seeing them at Family Values at the Forum, and they were the headline act. They had pretty much seen what Ozzy had did with Ozfest and whatever, and it
Mhm.
was like, oh, let's just do a small arena version of that, right?
Mhm.
And then I can't even remember who the um, the acts were when Korn was touring it, right?
Mhm.
But I remember then, and it was a big thing. They actually graduated from their own the Family Values kind of offshoot of Ozfest because at that time, right, the late '90s, early 2000s, there's a bunch of like touring festivals, right? You had
Yeah.
like Eric Clapton had the blues guys in Crossroads Festival. You had like all of the like guitar rock, girl, women's, whatever with Lilith Fair. Most
All
people
the
forgot
smoke
about,
outs.
yeah, most people forgot about like Lilith
All the
Fair,
smoke
man.
out
Like Lilith
fests.
dudes, like Sarah McLachlan and like
Mhm.
it, I, I I dig all music, man. So like that was it. Like
Mhm.
heck yeah, Cheryl Crow,
What was what was your first concert?
first concert. I want to say there's there's three, and I don't know because it's so long ago. I don't know which came first. So
Mhm.
uh, one was Prince at the Oakland
Mhm.
Coliseum, right? And that was I was little, like
Yeah, I bet.
two, three. I want to say like 87, 88, right? And then there was
I don't think I can take my kid at 2 or 3 to a concert.
no, I mean it was the 80s. Like,
Right. No,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. But and then the other kind of one that I remember like the county fair in Marin County. Like
Mhm.
you would have some of the guys from Journey, or if not
Right.
Journey headline, the whole thing. It was like 5 minutes away from their house. You know, um, let's see. Um, but I remember one particular year, right, where um, it was this guy named Clarence Clemens, and I didn't know as a kid like how big this dude was or whatever.
Mhm.
But you wouldn't know the name of Clarence Clemens, but Clarence Clemens is one of the founding members of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band, right? The
Mhm.
saxophone player, the big man, right? And he was just touring, and he'd known my dad and whatever, and we came through, and I went backstage, and was that was cool, right? And then the other one was like it was a crazy like bill. It was also that same Oakland. It was either like the Oakland Municipal Auditorium or whatever, but it was it could have been like the Alameda because I remember Oakland had the city of Oakland or the county of Alameda. They had their own stadium, right? So
Mhm.
um, I can't remember if it was the auditorium or the stadium, right? But essentially, it was a bunch of jazz folks, right? Like Hiroshima, Spyro Gyro, Keiko Matsui, the Yellow Jackets, but also like the two main, right, was Sade
Mhm.
and Shaka Khan. And
Nice.
couldn't have been more diametrically opposite, right?
Right.
But both of them pissed my mom off, right? One
Why?
I will tell you. So, so Shaka Khan, uh, she was flirting more with the band than she was engaging the audience. She spent
Hmm.
like 90% of her sets, right? Like, and good songs, like Ain't Nobody, like this, like great fucking songs, right? And as a kid,
Hmm.
like, wait, that's the lady from the radio? Whoa, whoa, like my mind was blown, right? So my mom hated that, right? She's like, we paid tickets with her, Fijian accent. We paid good money for these tickets, and she's going to go flirt with the band. I hear the rant in my head. It's just so emblazoned in my head, right? Then, um, obviously, Sade, and Sade was the bigger name at that point,
Hmm.
right? Um, but Sade was like the the one where you didn't take a video camera in, or take at the time disposable cameras. Like before you
Right.
could do that, right? Like at any other deal. But I remember she was kind of like the first one to do it. Like now, like Dave Chappelle, right? If you go see him on tour or whatever, you have to put your phone in a Ziploc outside of the arena and whatever, and then go in and whatever, because you don't
Hmm.
want any leaks or anything like that, right? So Sade was like that, and my mom was pissed. She was like, "And I can't even take a picture." Yeah, it was bad. Like the profanity laced uh just promo my mom cut on the way home. And Oakland to Marin
Hmm.
County, it was at least a 45-minute drive. And, it was 45 minutes because, like, we had to get out, the traffic coming out of the arena, and then,
Right.
another 20 minutes home and what have you. So my mom was just pissed and whatever. And then she also thought, like, my dad was looking at either one of either Shaka Khan or whatever.
Or
So
Sade.
yeah, it was bad. Charles the Professor Wilton says, I was there in '99, the remake of Woodstock. That was epic. Oh, that's infamous as well, good sir. Holy Jesus, that's I remember watching it on like MTV, right? And like, I think it was like Kurt Loder and John something. I forget, like the VJs, but they would be like of course, like Carson Daly or whatever, right? But like
Right.
they were the dudes that did the news, the MTV news, and the whatever. And when you started to see them start to fucking panic, like it was like, oh, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Fuck 99. Yeah, man. There's a
The train
lot of bad
wreck.
things that happened there.
I
Do you
think.
remember hearing about it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I remember. I just looked it up right now. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, actually, you just kind of a weird one, but I guess a cheap plug. But on this channel, Aisha Raymond, Big Femme Vader, who's wrestling in Japan, Mae Young, first WWE Mae Young Classic competitor. We actually did a review on the whole Woodstock '99 documentary, so that's right here on this
Hmm.
channel. So if you want to check that out, there it is. But a lot that is one where, like, nobody won, right? Because, like, you had people charging like $8 for water, but and the original Woodstock was like, just in upstate New York. This was in a air Woodstock '99 was at an Air Force base, like military. They said you
This is
couldn't bring any outside food and whatever the fuck. Like, it was a fucking shit show. And then obviously, people being people, they were
they were
the
being
R and
people.
the ape happening, and yeah, so not good.
What else can you expect?
I mean, I want people to be better. you know, I don't know.
You're asking for too much.
I mean, shit. '99. I was teen, preteen, somewhere around there.
I
So
was
it's like,
19.
okay, so there you go. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
already knew. You already knew. Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, I mean, to me, like, live music is amazing, amazing, and like I'm starting. I remember also, you because you were saying about, like, what was the first time seeing like concerts, like the concept of a concert. I don't know if you remember, but like there's this dude like on Saturday nights called like Wolfman Jack.
Mm-mm.
You He was a dude. I mean, like he ended up. I mean, there had been like Wolfman Jack parodies and what have you, but Wolfman Jack was like a radio DJ, right?
Yeah.
And he actually had like a show where he would, have bands on and stuff like that, and he would introduce them, like kind of like because he already had like American Bandstand and Casey Kasem, right? Like,
Right.
um, but this one was like a little bit more gritty. Like this guy, he's Wolfman Jack. Sounded like he was talking on a CB radio because that was a fucking thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like so much cooler, and the fucking band seemed a little bit grittier. Even if you saw them on American Bandstand, the grittier version of fucking, I don't know, Three Dog Night or whatever the fuck,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and seeing that. So like going back, right? Like Santana is fucking amazing, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then seeing him in his prime, right? Like in 70 on like Old Gray Whistle Test or Midnight Special. Like these are
Yes.
fucking shows on TV when there was only 3 channels. If
Yeah.
you're
You don't
fucking
get that now.
hell no. And you like everybody was fucking watching, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when Monday you went to fucking school, right? You'd
You
be
talked
like,
about it.
fucking, did you see Santana? And you go and buy the fucking record, like,
Yeah. But that's just like when we were younger and we went watched MTV Awards,
yeah,
and then you go to school on Monday and talk about it, right?
yeah.
So, but there's one thing. There's one thing that I do not like that you mentioned.
What?
You like to look up people singing live or listening to whatever live.
Yeah,
I do not like listening to live music on the radio. Like, you know how when they play portions of like a concert,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I hate that.
The radio's
It
not a
is
good,
the worst.
yeah,
Like even watching it on YouTube, like any of that, I do not like it. Like I
really.
want to be there. I
Oh
want to be there
no.
in person or just listen to it like regularly. But
See,
I skip over anything that's live.
I'm not that way. I mean, there are like if you like the live album, there are bands that will play it just exactly the fucking same way. I think Mick
Hmm.
Jagger from the Rolling Stones said like, you know, yes, we've been playing that fucking song, for
Exactly.
45 fucking
That
years,
I
right?
hate it.
No, no, but here's the thing. This is Mick Jagger's ideology about it. He's
Hmm.
like, but the person that is there that night, yes, they're the people that have, you know, attended every fucking, city of the concert, of the tour, for the entire tour, right? And have been doing that
Hmm.
for 5 Rolling Stones tours before that. But there's a large part, at least 30%, if not more so, that this is the first time. Like they bought the records, they bought the fucking t-shirts, never could afford to go. And then they want to hear
They're there.
fucking Gimme Shelter.
Hmm.
Okay, we're gonna fucking play Gimme Shelter just like the fucking recording from way back when, right? And
Hmm.
no, kind of no difference between it, right? For me, I like a little bit of nuance. If I'm gonna fucking pay, an exorbitant amount of money because Ticketmaster and all that shit, right? um
Hmm.
yeah, I want you to fucking do that. I want that 3-minute song to be 7 minutes with a fucking
Hmm.
after fucking guitar solo after it,
Yeah, that's the other thing. I hate long versions of songs.
what?
It is the one.
what
I
what
hate it. I just end it. It was three
oh,
minutes. Why are we making it seven? I don't understand.
because that's where the musicianship comes.
I could just replay the damn thing again.
No, but it's not like they're showing you. You know how? Oh fuck, what's it? Mariah and
You lost
Christina
me at
Aguilera,
Mariah.
right?
You lost me when you said Mariah.
Oh, okay. So Christina Aguilera, how about that?
Sure.
Okay, You know how she can't just like fucking sing the song; she has to do the vocal run.
I would leave. I would leave. I'd be like, fuck this. I'm good.
Okay, well, some people want that. Like
Deuces. I'm
she's
out of here.
established.
Which
Like
is why I wouldn't go to a pop concert or any of
okay,
that shit.
well,
Although I probably would go to a Beyonce concert. Those motherfuckers look dope.
oof, man,
But I
there's
want to go see Pink. That's who I really want to see.
the
Pop
missus does too.
Pink. Oh, does she?
Yeah, she definitely
Because
wants to.
Pink is going to be here this year.
Wait, at the forum or SoFi?
Yes,
One of them.
at the forum.
Okay,
Because I
all
had
right.
told Jason I want to go see her, and I
Okay,
don't care if I go by myself. I want
okay.
to go. So me and your missus are gonna have to have a
I
conversation.
think that might happen. Hell yeah. I think that's gonna be it.
Miss
I mean,
Woods,
dude,
message,
I no, dude,
message me.
like I fucking respect the fuck out of Pink, man. Like
Pink
look
is
at somebody
amazing.
her body of work, which she was just like fucking hip hop pop star, fucking there you go, whatever. That song was fucking badass. In the video, she fucking rides a motorcycle and lets it go into a fucking building. That shit was awesome. But then not realizing like that fucking was torture because like who the fuck but L.A. Reid, the drummer from fucking Babyface's R&B group,
Hmm.
the deal, right? Becomes a fucking head of a record company and shit like
Yeah.
that. And it's like, no, you got to be like fucking Britney Spears and shit like that. And she has that song about it, right? Like,
Well, I mean, so does Lady Gaga, right? She did that stupid song with Akon being all pop. They had to do that one, that first album that gets him out there.
was it the Poker Face one or no?
Prior, no, it's one with Akon
Hmm.
that it's
I
all in the club.
in my oh Akon, Jesus Christ. The only thing that
Yeah.
I could remember about Akon was when he got pissed and he fucking somebody jumped on stage and he fucking Ultimate Warrior Gorilla Press slammed their ass out in the fucking crowd.
Isn't he like president of like somewhere in Africa or something?
Whoa,
I don't
what a
know.
way to start off Black History Month. Fucking like I go, oh, his name, like, didn't he have a thing where just like what's it? Little John goes, yeah, or whatever the fuck. Didn't he go like Akon Project or some shit like that? And then
Um,
that's what I
he
remember.
says Akon.
Projects,
No.
something.
What does he do now? Wait, let me tell you.
Okay, what does he do? All I can remember about Akon is him fucking like again gorilla pressing. He fucking lifted. Somebody jumped on stage with him. Another dude, right?
He didn't
And
drink either, right?
huh?
He didn't drink alcohol, right?
I don't know. Fuck all about him because again, it begins and end with that person jumping on stage and him going like, oh, like the fucking Ultimate Warrior and chucking that motherfucker back into the crowd.
Oh, he always say convict music.
Yeah, that's it. Did I say project? Oh, project. Yeah, okay, good. Convict. Okay. I don't know. Sorry, Akon.
just like that one Missy Elliott,
Which one? The one with the
where
spit
she
in the mouth and give him
says
a taste? I fucking stopped listening to Missy Elliott after that. I was like,
she's
that's some fucking
gross.
disgusting ass shit.
I was like, look, that's a lot of
It's a
sexual
lot of.
stuff that I don't know nothing about.
I mean, Jesus.
I'm
Where can we start? Yeah.
wait, I'm
But
trying to find.
Akon?
Yeah,
Akon's trying
wait.
to find Akon or somebody. I wonder if
No,
there's
he's
anybody
like,
still a Akon fan.
I'm sure there is.
Man, that's weird. So weird. Yeah. Have you found out? Like he's either president of Senegal or some shit.
I think it's like Sri Lanka or something.
Sri Lanka is not even in Africa. That's like
Dude, listen,
off the
I
coast of
was
India. I
close.
feel like
I'm like, I was close.
Ew, Africa and India. That's like some Christopher Columbus shit. I landed in Africa. No, it's India. Oh shit. We'll
Look,
just call them fucking Africans anyway.
it's close enough. Go Black History Month.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I love it. Yeah, no. Jesus. Yeah, no. I have to have the extras if I'm going. Like, great live band. Actually, not a live band, right? But live act is John Mayer. We went to go see him before the COVID. Me and the
Yeah.
missus. Jesus Christ. Like, his body of work is incredible. Dude, I even talk about like liner notes and shit like that.
Uh,
I basically went on a mini wormhole, right? Because my wife is probably more soulful than I, right? She likes D'Angelo and whatever, and I was
she
like,
likes that D'Angelo V.
uh, she denies it, but I've made those assumptions myself.
So let me tell
Uh,
you, I hate that V. I think it's annoying.
oh, the fucking
Nobody
dick
needs a
root,
V. Like no one needs. I
the
know
dick.
where it is. I
It's
don't
the
need your
it's
body
the
to
dick.
point.
It's the dick root.
Listen.
The dick root. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing, I guess. But no, but so I was telling her. So a great subscribe on YouTube, right? If you're watching us, chances are it's probably on YouTube. But there's this guy. The YouTube is called Digging the Greats, right? Where this
Okay.
dude just goes into 8-minute deep dives on a particular subject, right? And he was talking about how basically uh, the Roots, right, or specifically um, Questlove from the Roots, right, the drummer,
I
right,
think
him,
he's awesome.
huh? Oh yeah, he's
I think
fucking
he's awesome.
tremendous, and he's got like um, this kit, a drum kit, where you could just like fucking take if even if you have like a shitty compact car or whatever, you can throw the gear, a full on kit in the car and whatever. It's like meant to be portable and shit like that. You're not going to spend an hour setting up or taking down your drums and shit like that. So even that, there's kids that live in apartments that are going to be able to play drums because of Questlove, because of this fucking
Hmm.
kit. And it's about the price of a guitar, like $200-300, right?
Hmm.
Introductory guitar, right? But
Yeah.
basically, it was Questlove who like he basically held court at Electric Lady Studios, which is Jimi Hendrix's studio that he built literally fucking 10 weeks. It completed 10 weeks before he ended up passing away, right?
That's wild.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So by the early '90s, like basically it was like they were fucking dusting off dust off of the equipment, like nobody was really fucking going there. And they basically just like it would be Questlove, the rest of the Roots, fucking Talib Kweli, like a bunch of people, Erica Badu, right?
I
And
love
they ended
Erica
up,
Badu.
yeah, they ended up making this impromptu super group called the Soul Quarians, because like Questlove, Quelly, Mos Def, and Erica Badu were all Aquarius, and they liked
Hmm.
soul music and shit like that. And then
Oh, that's why I like her because she's Aquarius.
yeah, there, yeah, I guess I I should be more into the astrological, but I
I'm not.
okay, right on.
I just know I'm Aquarius, and that's as far as that goes.
There you go.
Oh,
Hell
and that
yeah,
it's a water sign.
there you go. Yeah, hell yes. Yeah. So basically, with the Sulcurians, right? And at some point, like Jay Dilla comes from like Detroit and starts messing around with them and whatever. But like all of these albums that happened during that time period, right?
Hmm.
Um, it all basically came apart because of this like collective that everybody was just playing on each other's records and shit like that in the same studio, right? And one key factor, beyond the people that I just mentioned, who are legendary acts in their own right, let alone them all playing on each other's stuff. Common is in there too. Like they were all in there, right? At Electric Lady Studios, right? But there's this guy, Pino Palladino, right? Bass player. And
Mhm.
for music people, you might know who he is. You should know who he is, right? But he's the guy who played the fretless bass on Paul Young's Every Time You Go Away, right? The 80s hit and shit. You know that song, right? Every time you go away. Yeah, that.
Mhm.
So that boom, 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 boom. That's Pino Palladino, right? So Pino Palladino obviously does that, right? And then he joins this band called The Firm with um, Paul Rogers from um, at the time Bad Company, right? And Bad Company in the 70s, had songs like Feel Like Making Love. Dun, So Paul Rogers is the fucking lead singer of that. So
Mhm.
Paul Rogers and fucking Pino Palladino, and I want to say it became a super group, right? Of like different players and everything, and they had a band, right? Well, Paul Rogers, after the Firm in like the mid 90s into the early 2000s, ended up replacing Freddie Mercury in
Mhm.
Queen, right?
Okay.
Um, what Pino Palladino ends up after that. John Entwistle from the Who, right? The Ox, like one of the best fucking bass players in rock history. He ends up passing away in Vegas. Well, Pino Palladino fills in for him, right? Uh, in addition to that, so Pino, was a member of the Soulquarians, right? Then 2 years later, he joins the fucking Who, right? And then not too much, like within maybe about a decade, he links up with Steve Jordan and fucking John Mayer and creates the John Mayer trio, right? But even in between, like the Firm and the Paul Young, Every Time You Go Away, Pino
Mhm.
Palladino plays on Eric Clapton's Journeyman record, right? And there's a song called Old Love on
Mhm.
Eric Clapton's Journeyman record, right? Pino Palladino plays on this, right? The fucking rhythm of Old Love is the fucking rhythm of Erica Badu's Tyrone.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And he played
I
on
gotta
both
listen to it.
records. Then John Mayer's latest album, Sob Rock, which I feel like is his best album to date. And for the last like four albums that John Mayer has had, I'm like, this is his best album yet. But no, this one is his best album yet. But it's an ode to Eric Clapton's Journeyman album, right?
Mhm.
Well, Pino Palladino is fucking playing on that record too. So Pino Palladino, Soulquarians, The Who, Paul Young, Every Time You Go Away, The fucking Firm, John Mayer Trio, Eric Clapton, and then fucking John Mayer.
He's everywhere.
And yeah, is again, I go down
Hey,
wormholes,
if it's not broken, why fix it, right?
huh?
He said, if it's not broken, then why fix it? Just continue
I
doing what
mean,
you do.
shit. He's either the most brilliant, one of the most. Yeah, he is one of the most brilliant bass players ever. But he found this musical, kind of. I think he was going to be attached one way or another. That he's playing on the original record, right? Which Journeyman. I was just telling you off air. Journeyman was when like Eric Clapton was like first happy. He had fucking, you know,
Mm-hmm.
kicked his drug habit. His son hadn't died yet. His son Connor, who, uh, for those who don't know, my goodness, like they were staying at a hotel, like a high-rise hotel in New York, and the housekeeper, left the window open. Connor runs, falls out, and that's how we get Tears in Heaven. Is yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Eric Clapton, and that
Oh, I
now
forgot about that
legendary.
song too.
Yeah, that's for his son Connor, who fell out.
Mm-hmm.
I think 80 stories. You know,
That shit is wild.
yeah, it's pretty fucked. That I mean, Clapton has been through some shit, man. Like that's whew, yeah, it's rough.
What did Charles Wilton say? He missed actually hanging out at the record store.
Oh yeah, 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 man. Don't we all?
That's like spending time at the comic book store, right? Spend hours there, like hours, just going through music. And then
Yeah,
as you're going through music, you're listening to some new music, and you're like, "Oh shit, what's this?"
yeah.
Right?
Days before like Shazam, like I remember, being at a Tower Records in like San Francisco, and again, like maybe first grade, right?
Hmm.
And my parents, right? Because they were already like my mom was looking up a Tina Turner some odd, and my dad was like what band or sound that nobody has ever heard of. What like how could he get inspired and stuff like that? So like
Hmm.
yeah, I always kind of left to do my own thing and shit like that. And I would hear something and whatever, and then I'd like go to the counter, and I'm like,
What's
what,
this? What's that?
yeah, what is that? And then they'd walk me over and everything like that, and then I would see like a fucking $10 price, in 1990 or whatever, and I was like, fucking. There's not an amount of chores in the world. Like I'm getting $1 a week, for fucking taking out the trash. There's 10 weeks. That might as well have been forever. Save up for
Hmm.
this one album. But what if the ice cream truck comes, man? Like,
And ice cream.
right? I'm not buying this album at all. But then just looking at the cover and like, there was that era of like CDs where it wasn't just a CD, and it would have this long fucking jacket,
Hmm. Yeah.
with the fucking plastic around it, so you
Hmm.
didn't steal it and shit like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
My nephew just got into records, and not last year, but the year before, he had
mm,
me buy him a record player for Christmas. And I got him a couple of records that he may or may not have wanted,
okay.
but you know. But and then I got him some that I know he was gonna want. Ultimately, he liked them all.
Oh,
But like I was
sweet.
like, that's what I need to do. I was like, but I got him like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
He got Panic at the Disco. He did get Blink 182, and then I got him.
Whoa, what album of Panic at the Disco?
Uh, he got I
Is it the Fever You Can't Sweat Out? Is it the
no,
one with all the?
I don't know. I
Is it
got
Burgundy?
him. I don't remember.
It's Burgundy with like a bunch of people on it. That to me,
Uh,
that's see. I'm a first album guy, right? So like,
I got him Pray for the Wicked.
okay, not a bad album, but it's not a Fever. The Fever
And
is
then I think I got him a Fever, but I got him the also special edition Fever for him not to
okay.
open.
Yeah.
So, so I got him the regular one to open, and then I got him the special edition one to not open. So
Yeah.
it was like an exclusive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember my sister was the one. Like, I had I was living in Bakersfield at the time, and
mhm.
uh, right before Owen was born, like I came back down to LA, and my sister's like, "You got to hear this band, Panic at the Disco," and she plays it on this fucking website called YouTube.
Mhm.
That's how long ago it was. Like YouTube wasn't an app; it was a fucking, you know,
Just a website.
yeah, just a website. And like she was like me that,
Have
and
you
like
seen them live?
no, no.
Like, damn.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I took
But
Alexander before I left to Vegas. So
okay.
about 3, 4 years ago, they were here at the Forum, and I we got floor seats. Um, I had to. That was like his favorite band at the moment.
Yeah.
And it was like he had to see them, and it was an amazing show. He plays an amazing show,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, damn, I'd come see them again. So,
So I mean, obviously, like for me, well, again, I'm a fan of like first albums. Like I mean,
mhm.
and usually it's like the first like commercially released. Like the fucking bootlegs. No, I fucking don't know of the fucking bootleg of Sugar Ray from '97.
Yeah, I
No,
don't.
like yeah, no, but like like the Sugar Ray's Floored, or the U's first album, or the
Hmm.
Darkness's first album, or you know, like the commercially, you know, the released one. Like that's it. Like My Chemical Romance is, you know, Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Like that's, you
Hmm.
know, the Killer's Hot Fuss. Like fuck, you know, those are life changing, man. Like
Right.
there's some of the best albums of the last 20 years, right? And also, you know, when you go see the Darkness, you go see the fucking Killers, you go see fucking, you know, My Chemical Romance now that they're back
I think
together
that's
again.
who I want. I want to see the Killers. I've seen them in a small set, like in a festival. You know, they only play certain songs. It's not
Yeah,
their
like 8
show.
song, yeah, set
Yeah,
list,
I've
yeah.
seen them that way, but I want to see them like just them.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's actually
Like a headline tour.
The Killers is one of my favorite bands.
Oh man. Dude. So
um,
oh god.
21 Pilots is another great band to see live. I
That's
mean,
that one.
they
So
were great.
you know you
I love
spoiled
them.
them for me.
Why? I saw them in Vegas.
Yes. Yes, because you went live or posted it or whatever.
Hmm.
When I saw a drummer and a bass player, and I was like, this is not, there was a whole lot of fucking shit that like was just a miss for me. So if you call
I think you
yourself
have to be
20,
there.
huh?
It's one of those shows you have to be there, I think.
So just this is where it gets fucked for me. Right?
Hmm.
So if you have a name,
Hmm.
like a numerical name of a band or a group, you fucking better be fucking represented. If you're saying you got 21, I'm expecting 21 motherfuckers to be dressed like Top Gun.
You don't see 187 blinks or
But
100
they
or
blinked
182 blinks.
187
You don't,
or
not 182.
yeah,
Blink 182.
100%. And I also know it's from that movie like Turk 182, you know, like I don't know if that's the actual movie name, but like that's what they were going for, right? There was
Oh,
this movie of in the 80s or 90s or whatever. I remember seeing that
yeah,
movie. So when I heard the fucking band, I was like, I get it. Um, I still don't know what Blink 182 actually stands for, but I knew the 182 part comes from that fucking movie, whatever movie that
yeah.
was. But
Hmm.
yeah, so when that's what I was expecting. Like I just listened to them.
21 people.
Yeah, I'm more like, you motherfuckers be like Chumbawamba or fucking Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. There might be 20, like there's the rapper guy, 21 Savages, and it's one guy. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I want 21 fucking cannibals.
Maybe he has 21 personalities.
No, fuck, doesn't work for me.
They all
Sorry.
sing.
21 Pilots. When I saw a guy
It's
in a
two
fucking
guys.
beanie playing drums and another guy in a fucking Dickies work suit with a bass guitar, and I was like, that's it? Where are the
It's the
other
best.
fuckers? I need
I've seen
19
them.
motherfuckers here.
I've seen them 3 times.
Oh god.
Yeah. Well, in festivals and then once by themselves.
Oh. Yeah, they
But
are by themselves because the drummer's way the fuck over here and the bass player's right over there. But
and then
they need another
imagine
19 for them to be 21 Pilots. And
Imagine Dragon is another good band to watch live.
okay. Yeah, because I can
Okay.
imagine Dragons. You know
Yeah.
what's the only song that I like of them?
What?
This Time. That's the
You know
only
what?
song.
I went to go see Pitbull live. I was excited. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go see Pitbull," and he was with Enrique Iglesias.
Okay.
Yeah. So good combination, right?
All right.
A little bit of pop, a little bit of rap, pop. Um, they both have Spanish music that I really like,
Yeah.
especially Enrique Iglesias. A lot of love ballads.
Yeah.
Um, so I was excited. Saw his set. It's good. It's awesome. Loved it. And then I was disappointed by Pitbull
Why?
because he chose LA to be political.
Okay.
So he would like sing a song, and you're like, hey, way, right? You're over here busting it out with people, and then he's like, but this political climate that we're standing in, like he was just like, is his political view. And then, and then we're like, so we're like at a concert, yeah, yeah, like that's how I felt.
uh,
Like, okay, ugh, all right, let's go. Ugh. That was me the entire concert, and I was like, and then my friend saw them like a couple of weeks later in Vegas, and she was like, "It was one of the best concerts I've ever seen." I'm like, ugh, how rude. So I
I
was really annoyed by that. I think.
I actually there was a couple concerts that I went to, and it was like it actually made MTV News like the fucking next day.
Hmm.
So one, I guess, where it relates to like the Pitbull deal, right? So is family values, right? And this particular, this like I was starting off with, like Corn
Hmm.
went to Ozfest and he gave like in family values to Limp Bizkit, and the A towns like Arrowhead Pond and Anaheim and shit like that would get like Exhibit, um, Papa Roach, and then headlining by Limp Bizkit. The B
Hmm.
town, which the Forum was at the time, right? I think got a better show, but it was the lesser of the two. It was DMX, Godsmack,
Oh
and
wow.
Limp Bizkit, right? So with the Godsmack, oh no, I'm sorry. Uh, so imagine, right? Two fucking rival, like Godsmack, fucking biker fucking fans, right? And then you got like Fred Durst wannabes, with the Limp Bizkit crowd. And the first fucking act on is DMX, right? And do you,
I used to love DMX.
oh, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood is one of my
Oh,
favorite fucking
best
albums
albums
ever.
ever.
Man, slipping. God, there hasn't
You
been a
sleeping?
time where I listened to slipping, whether it be the radio version, the
You
TRL
can't listen to
version.
DMX radio version. It has to be like that album.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
has to be the album. I can't do the radio.
yeah. No, I don't give a shit. Like there hasn't been a time where I've heard that fucking song slipping and it hasn't brought tears to my eyes. Like it's still fucking impactful. And I briefly met the dude like when I was working at FedEx in Universal City, like just walking home on my way to catch the train and shit like that. And he was eating at a popular pasta restaurant
Hmm.
on one side of the fucking Vivid Porn building because LA. But yeah, that was right after he got out of jail for impersonating the fucking FBI in Arizona. Right?
I
Yeah.
remember that.
No,
Yeah, I can.
he was trying to pull people over as FBI, but here he is, his fucking DMX. When he got the fucking jacket, it was like pulling people over, and then the real fucking FBI came. Oh shit! It was a skunk. There's a skunk right outside my fucking door.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Anyways,
I used to love listening to which one came first because they both came in the same year. Flesh of My Flesh, and then It's Dark and Hell is Hot. I think It's Dark and Hell is Hot was second.
I thought it was
Or was
first.
that first?
It was
Could
first.
be
It's the
first.
red,
Yeah,
yeah, red album, and then the bleeding
the
one. And
bloody
my
one.
my
Yeah,
parents
yeah, yeah.
weren't happy about that. Like he
The
was all
bloody
covered
one.
in blood.
Yeah.
My parents were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Yeah,
Yeah, and
and
I
then
remember
like,
I used to listen to It's Dark and Hell is Hot. And I used to listen to it back to back to back to back to back. And then Flesh of My Flesh came out, and I would listen to both of them back to back.
yeah, that
Like,
makes
because
sense.
I had like the five spinner, right? To like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
so I'm like, oh, I gotta listen to this.
yeah. No,
But
100%. So yeah,
that's like the
that family
blueprint. I have to
values.
listen to the blueprint.
He fucking you know he always did the fucking Lord's Prayer,
Yep.
right? But he does it again. Godsmack fans and Limp Bizkit fans, they're pelting him with bottles, and like I was kind of high up, but I'm just like, oh no, this is not gonna be good. and all the motherfuckers that DMX had with him were like, they're ready to fucking go, but also the bikers and also
Mhm.
the trust fund baby fucking wannabe hardcore rapper guys.
Mhm.
Oh, that shit was wild, right? And then that same show, that was the one where I think it was either Optimus Prime or the Megazord, right? They had
Mhm.
Limp Bizkit had the stage, right? Like John, no, DJ Lethal was like, in the fucking chest plate, right?
Mhm.
And you scratching the record, and then John Otto, the fucking drummer, was drumming from a shoulder, and then Sam Rivers was whatever, and Fred Durst was in front and everything like that. And that was the one where like Fred was on something, like whether it be alcohol or others, like,
Mhm.
but he fucking couldn't remember the lyrics to Nookie, right? And he tripped over the fucking amplifier, and it made both things: the DMX getting pelted and him walking out, and the fucking Fred Durst shit that happened at the same show. And like the next day on fucking MTV News and shit like
Of
that,
course.
Serena Alshul was like, "Ah, the fucking Family Values in LA," and I was like, "It's fucking Inglewood! God damn you!" Shit, I was there. You
Yeah.
know, I live down
That's
the road.
hilarious.
It's Inglewood. You know, so that was one, and then also there was this. It wasn't even a concert. It was like this snow, um fucking basically
Snowboarding.
yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they had
The Mountain
snowboarding,
High. They have the Mountain High concerts, kind of like they want to do the same thing that they do at the beach, but in the snow
but
with
it
all the
wasn't at Mountain
concerts.
High. It was at the Forum.
Oh,
They fucking put like a fucking snowboard
ramp.
ramp in the Forum, and then a stage like
Mm-hmm.
there, and it was Eminem.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
nice.
Eminem, and that was like first album. I think this is actually after the first album, and he was with the first D12 album also came out, right? So Purple Pills, and man, that was the one where it was like the MTV Awards that happened like the weekend before and shit like that,
Mm-hmm.
and like Christina Aguilera and whatever before he did the Slim Shady,
Right.
actual song. But he came out and he was just like, like, I really feel bad with what happened with Christina and Britney at the fucking awards show or whatever, and I would like to apologize only if they were here. Actually, somebody comes up to him like, actually, they are here. It's like, oh, word, I get to do this, and wouldn't you guys want to see fucking Christina and Britney? It's like, yeah, whatever, right? He brings up fucking two blow up dolls with their faces. And he's like, if y'all wanted to see me fucking apologize, fuck off. And he throws the two blow up dolls, and yeah,
That sounds about right.
yeah, yeah. And that
You know
that
who
that made MTV News too. And all
we
three things happened at the Forum, two in one fucking concert.
we saw? Well, Jason's a big CeeLo Green fan,
Oof, sorry.
right? And I used to hate CeeLo Green because he would play the same shit over and over and over. And eventually, I got into it.
Okay,
And so he was playing at the Roxy.
okay.
So that place holds like 200 people, if that,
Max.
max. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got him tickets to do the meet and greet.
Okay.
And I think it wasn't even like a birthday or anything. He was just here, and I was like, oh shit, we gotta go.
Yeah.
And obviously, small, intimate. We met him and his fiance at the time. Awesome people. Like he was awesome, and his fiance was awesome. And they went backstage, whatever. Was getting ready for the concert. They let all the other people in because, at the beginning when you do the meet and greet, it's just you and them.
Right.
So we were already there. So we were already in the front. and he does a fucking good concert.
Yeah, I mean, he's a. Yeah, I mean, he's.
Like good live
Yeah,
band, everything.
yeah.
And I was very surprised to be like, I like by that time I really really liked his music, like really liked it.
Was that
And
before and
so
after the fucking scandals?
after,
After.
yeah,
Okay, so that's probably like what also happened. It was like, you know, he's like fucking. I could still actually get 200 fucking people to want to meet me and
yeah,
pay the VIPs and shit like that. You know, like
yeah. I
that's
got VIP tickets, and yeah, it was after the scandals. Yeah, 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 yeah. It was
yeah,
after.
yeah. So he
So
he
I
was
mean, I think that's the other thing. I went for the music.
okay.
I know that sounds shady. Like, do I need to care about the scandal?
Well, I mean,
Like, should the scandal break
it's
the music?
it's the to me, it's a version of the shut up and dribble deal, right? Like just like how you were saying about Pitbull getting all political, right? There
Hmm.
is a segment of people that are like, no, just fucking shut up and play the hits, shut up and
Right.
dribble, shut up and pass the ball, shut up and act. We don't want your commentary of this. But then
100%.
there are another segment of people that are like, you have a fucking platform, you got to use it for good. And
Why?
but there's just two there's two types of people, and
Hmm.
two groups. I mean, there's more groups than that. It gets even more nuanced than that, but that's it. And usually those things don't play well together, right?
Right.
Yeah. Um so yeah, I mean, that I don't know. Like there was a moment where I'm a big fucking Eric Clapton fan, right? I
Hmm.
don't. You could call it Cream. When he was in the fucking supergroup with Ginger Breaker and Jack Bruce, the Sunshine of Your Love, and White Room, and We're Going Wrong. To him and the Yardbirds even before that. Uh, Traffic, him and Steve Winwood and Ginger Baker, to his solo shit. Him getting so fucking stoned right after, like, you know the story about Layla, right? Eric Clapton's Layla,
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard it.
but you know the
I
story,
don't
right?
remember it, but
So
I've heard it.
basically, his best friend was George Harrison from the fucking Beatles, right? And they
Hmm.
lived right next to each other. George Harrison's wife was this model named Patty Boyd.
Hmm.
So fucking Eric Clapton was like, well, I'm in love with her too, and I'm on coke, and I'm just as talented, whatever. And he ends
It's
up
not.
fucking stealing his best friend's girl and marrying
Okay,
her.
Yoko Ono.
No, no, this is not Yoko. This is Patty
No, I know.
Boyd.
I said
Oh yeah,
okay, Yoko Ono.
yeah. And this is, I mean, George was already out of the Beatles and shit already, but
Hmm.
yeah, that's what Layla's about. If you listen to the words, like he's fucking like, you know, been a fool, I've been in love with you, whatever, like it's that. Um, but then he gets with Patty Boyd, and she leaves George Harrison, lives with Eric Clapton, and was like he was so deep into like coke and heroin that she couldn't even fucking save him and shit like that. Um,
There's no
and
saving them, people.
huh?
So there's no saving them
Yeah, I mean, he eventually gets it together, but like what, two wives, dead
later.
son, then what, 3 decades later,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
but now he's living in like Bermuda with his 3 kids and new wife that's
Mm.
30 years younger than he. But there was a point where, like, during the COVID, right, he was all, wow, this shit is whatever, and I was just like, fucking just play fucking, I don't know, Wonderful Tonight,
Just shut
goddamn.
up and dribble.
Yeah, I had that moment, and then now all the shit that he was saying, well, everybody's now saying.
Hmm.
So you know, that taught me a lesson of like, just love them for what you love them for, and you can choose. Like, I'm a fucking Joe Rogan fan. I don't like everything that fucking Joe Rogan says,
Mhm.
you know. But have I learned a fuck ton? I would say at this juncture of my life, I've been listening to Rogan on and off, and I don't listen to every episode. If like I'm not a car guy, I'm not a hunter, right? So, or when he starts talking shit about pro wrestling, but also the 3 episodes ago, he was like, I used to fucking watch Bruno Sammartino when I was living in Boston or whatever. So,
Mhm.
I listen to the shit that I like, and I, don't listen to the shit that I don't like, right? Um, and at this point, like I've probably learned more about life and shit and like actual things that go on for 10 years of Rogan than 4 years at Inglewood High. That's pretty safe to say. Um,
And
and the
that's how
thing
the
is,
cookie crumbles, people.
yeah, I know 100%. As I crumbled a dog cookie, like, I didn't know that was gonna happen or whatever. But yeah, so that whole thing with Eric Clapton, like I was like, oh, okay, so you're not gonna like everything about it. Nobody's
Right.
gonna be a fucking white knight, so to speak, right? Nobody's gonna save your day. You enjoy what you enjoy. Suffer what there is to suffer. Enjoy what there is to enjoy, and regard both as equal parts of life that you fucking need to keep on going. So
Right.
fuck yeah, I love Eric Clapton. Do I listen to every fucking song? No, but
No.
like there's some shit there that is just like it blows your fucking mind.
I love the cocaine song. I don't know why.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's a fucking riff. My God.
Yeah. Yeah. What can I say?
Yeah. So I mean, we can't get out of here without asking a proverbial. um I don't know. Like I feel like everybody when they do a music something or other, they say like, "Oh, albums you can live without," or if you're stuck on a desert island and only had one fucking artist to listen to. Um, I guess I'm gonna do a version of that, but like you could have one, you could have maybe 5 albums. Like, who's to say that you can't fucking have like you know a, sh- a shit ton of things in your arms, right? That you could carry.
hmm
You thatch a basket and whatever, and you take a bunch of shit. Um,
I
so
have I have one for you.
okay,
When you die, what's the one song you want them to play at your funeral?
when I die, fucking not Freebird, fuck that song, and Leonard Skinner. Yeah, I said it. Um, there was
So I'll go
go
while you
for it.
think. I want um the man who sold the world, but Nirvana's version, not the original.
Wait, David Bowie is a man who sold the world, but Nirvana's version,
Yeah, the one he played live
right?
on MTV Unplugged. I want to sing like that.
Okay,
Like
yeah,
when I die, I that song better play. Like it's the one and only song that I always had in my mind, no matter what. I don't know why or why that version or even where it begins to be the one, but that's the one.
okay. Well, because I'm a
You get one
fucking
song.
no. I'm a village idiot because like I was thinking about like answering it, because there was a song recently that I fucking was like, oh yeah, that's the fucking song, but I can't remember that fucking song. So I'll actually, so I have a dumb fuck answer, and I have a serious answer.
hmm
Which one do you want first?
Let's do the serious one so I can
Old,
laugh it out later.
yeah, old white Lincoln by the Gaslight Anthem.
Okay.
Okay, dumb fuck. Nora Jones. I don't know why you didn't call.
Because you're a dumb fuck? That's hiding
I
cost.
mean, I mean, like it would
Do
be
you have
just
a
like
favorite album?
fi- right. I mean, as of right now, it would either
Hmm.
be, I mean, just album, not greatest hits. It's a toss up between Mayer and John Mayer's Sob Rock and
Hmm.
Eric Clapton's Journeyman. Those are because Journeyman has Pretending, Old Love, and No Alibis, which No Alibis is I didn't even know about that song until maybe summer last year. Didn't
Hmm.
even know about it, and it came out in a random fucking
I'm
like
not. I'm not gonna lie. I've never listened to a John Mayer song, and now I might.
oh
We'll see.
I'm not here to
I'll play
convince
some.
anyone. I'm just
No, 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 no.
saying
I'm just saying, like,
there's some good shit there. I
I
mean,
might
there's a
listen
reason
to
why
some.
like his first hit
Hmm.
was what 2002 2003, and
Hmm.
then he's still fucking doing it now. Think
Right.
about how, like he came out of a time of like Jack Johnson and Jason Mraz in terms of guitar guys, but even like Michael Bublé and Josh Groban, and
Hmm.
then the fucking Christina, and and look at who's standing still,
Right.
and just even in
Michael
between,
Bublé
right?
is still standing.
Yeah, but two out of how many fucking their contemporaries, right?
Yeah,
Them and
definitely.
Pink, right? Like that's and
Hmm.
I mean like not just whatever, like because playing the county fair, like I went to an O Town concert in Beverly Hills, like whatever. If I
Right.
went in 1999 an O Town concert, it would have been like fucking football stadium, whatever the fuck, or they're opening up for the Backstreet Boys, so
Yep.
um, and they're so fucking cool. Like, don't my sister's a huge boy band, whatever, and well, fan. I don't want to say whatever. She's a huge fan, and
Yeah, me too.
I mean, the fucking dudes are cool, man. Like, they're real fucking dudes who still appreciate the fact that you still listen to their songs and go to their. There's people that just fucking go to their shows,
Hmm.
like deadheads, like people who used to fucking go in their van and go around to where the fucking Grateful Dead played
Hmm.
and shit.
You
Which,
know,
but
you remember
again,
the Juggalos? They still play.
oh god, I that's one
I've never liked them, but they
yeah,
have
I
like
sorry juggalos, like anybody that's
no.
watching
I'm not
and that's
sorry. I don't
yeah,
like
I
them.
don't,
They're just too redneck for me. Not that
yeah,
I don't like rednecks. Rednecks are fucking cool, but
my
that is way, way
my favorite my favorite insane clown posse moment is
when
did
they
you know
stop
they
playing.
huh
When they stop playing.
no, I'll send it to you when we get off. But they actually were signed to WCW for a bit.
I remember that.
Okay, do you remember Mike Awesome, who was at the time like the ECW champion? He signed to WCW, and they gave him like that '70s guy for whatever the fuck reason, like
Mm-mm.
whatever. But
I
there
remember
was
them
some
being
sort of
signed for
fucking
sure.
match. There was some fucking match between I think Violent J of the Insane Clown Posse
Hmm.
and Mike Awesome, who's like 6'6", jacked, and whatever. And at some point, they fucking were on top of a bus, like a fucking school bus.
Hmm.
And Mike Awesome had the Awesome Bomb, which is a version of like Scott Hall's Razor's Edge or Razor Ramon's Razor's Edge, whatever. It's like a modified fucking power bomb. But Mike
Hmm.
Awesome fucking does the Awesome Bomb to fucking Violent J of the Insane Clown Posse on top of the fucking bus on Monday Nitro.
Hmm.
And fucking Violent J fucking falls off the fucking bus.
See,
That is my favorite fucking Insane Clown Posse moment ever.
see, they're just so worthless. I can't.
They had the juggler. What is it? The gathering of the juggalos where they would have a wrestling thing.
Yes.
I know a lot of
I've
people
heard
that made
about
a
that.
fuck ton of money, like from wrestling on those shows. Like for wrestling, like they kept a lot of people going.
Mm-hmm.
So I know some people, they were like, yeah, especially like the legends, like a fucking Jake the Snake or whatever. He's like, yeah, what I made from like Insane Clown Posse's fucking event would be comparable to wrestling at WrestleMania. During the dying days, yeah, after Hogan
Mm-hmm.
and shit like that. So there's that. Um, which I guess last thing, if what do you do? Like a playlist or whatever? Like how do you consume music now?
Yeah, I can either shuffle everything I have on Spotify,
Okay.
or I'll just random bullshit on Pandora and see what
Okay.
happens. Or the
Yeah.
radio. I like the radio. I like the radio. I
Okay.
actually like. I'm a radio person. I like the radio. I don't like
Oh,
commercials, but I like listening to the radio.
yeah.
So, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, a lot of. I like that now on Spotify you can, like before you would just have to listen to your own music,
Mm-hmm.
but now there's like an option to like, oh, do you want to listen to this that kind of goes with what you're listening to? And that I'm liking. I like discovering new music that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have listened to this or even known about it had I not had this option.
So do you have a like right now currently? Do you have either a top five bands or top five songs that you're listening to right now? And what would they
What am I
be?
listening to? Let me see.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you my top five.
I can tell you right off the bat what my shit is.
What is it? Tell me.
The 1975,
Hmm.
uh, Eric Clapton, Phil Collins, John Mayer, and the last Chuck Berry record, Big Boys. Like Chuck fucking Berry, bro. Like
Hmm.
Jesus Christ. This is a guy who, like him and Little Richard and all those motherfuckers back on the Mississippi Delta had to watch Elvis steal their shit and all
Right.
that, like whatever, and every like growing up in Inglewood and they're like, you're listening to white music. And I'm like, no, fuck,
So.
like this is our music. Like if you don't have those people that were doing the shit on the Chitlin circuit, during Jim Crow, you don't
Hmm.
have even country music. You don't have fucking, R&B. Like
I
that's
think
all
that's. I think that's one thing I won't listen to. I just can't get into
country.
country.
Yeah, me either. Well,
Can't
there's
do it.
this one song, the Brooks and Dunmire Maria, and then I found out like one of the guys was racist. So that's and that's the other thing that like
Way to go.
people who aren't ethnic don't have to have a problem with, but
Hmm.
wondering if this fucking band, like if you like Leonard Skinner, right, and just listened to a song, you listen to Freebird or whatever the fuck song, right, and you're like, ah, fuck, I love that song. I'm gonna go see him in concert, or I'm gonna go and get a Leonard Skinner shirt. And when you see a fucking Confederate flag on it or whatever, you're like,
Maybe not.
oh no, I've been
Yeah.
duped, been fucking duped.
Yeah.
So that's something. My dad actually had a deal because he felt like I was going that way, and he
Hmm.
was like, if I buy an album for you, there has to be more ethnic folk than than Anglo folk, because I'm
Really?
using black money to fucking
Yeah. I
and
mean.
so subsequently, what albums that I had the most of as as like a teenager when I was going to Inglewood,
Hmm.
Dave Matthews Band,
Really.
because
I didn't.
there's like
I did not
four,
like.
like there's a their drummer, the fiddle player, funny enough, like a black fucking fiddle player in Dave
Yeah.
Matthews. But yeah, um, but there was like, I think it was like a 3-3 ratio, and then also like Dave Matthews got a pass because he's from South Africa.
Hmm.
So
Damn.
Yeah, so I had a lot of Dave Matthews Band. So like the Space Between and the Ants March, I had all that shit because like everybody was listening to like fucking what were they listening to when I was like 50 Cent in the club or
Mm-hmm.
uh B2K was like a fucking thing. I remember that.
I used to like B2K.
I see you're
No, I'm
see
in
that's it.
that boat.
And I was listening to Dave Matthews, so that just kind of fucking let's see where the fuck I was at. This might as well have been a
Yeah.
different universe. Yeah. So
I think I like her right now.
oh yeah, dude, she's
She's fucking amazing.
I was on the fence with her. Her, right? But
Yeah.
when she did the fucking Prince tribute
Mm-hmm.
and she so when Prince died, and I wasn't when he was alive, I wasn't a huge Prince fan. Because a lot of the girls that I liked Prince.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, there's no way that I could compare to you, right?
Right.
Nothing compares to you, right? Um, but when he passed away, Mary and I, my wife and I, we were already going to this like jam night that they would have at every Wednesday at the Lucky Strike bowling bar
Mm-hmm.
in Hollywood on Hollywood Highland, right? And we'd been for like 3 weeks before. We even got to see like Jackson Brown, like when he was like doing a fucking sold out like tour and shit like that. And we saw him. There was probably about 80 fucking people in the room and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the jam night was like whatever touring musicians, whatever that were in town and whatever, they would just drop in, and they turn one of the nights, the Wednesday after Prince passed away, into a tribute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I got to hear his music alive. And we are talking
Prince.
like, yeah, and like guys from fucking Vertical Horizon and like Jeff Scott Soto, who after Steve Perry left had a turn of being the lead singer of Journey, and Yngwie Malmsteen, and like all of these fucking incredible fucking musicians playing Prince and giving ode to it. And then even more so, I remember Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. You said when Prince died, he was actually the month before trying to get the fucking like the guitar part, the intro to When Doves Cry.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Billy Gibbons from fucking ZZ Top, one of the greatest, like everybody's one of the top 50 guitars in anybody's list,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he's like, I couldn't get it. Prince is actually a better guitar player than I. Like, fuck, man. Like that's it. And to hear that music live, that it was different. So
I'm
like
sure.
I'm a huge fucking Prince fan now. Yeah, I
I'm
forsake
sure.
him when he was alive, and now I
There
love him
you
when he's
go.
dead. I'm typical. Yeah,
Very typical. But
hell
yeah,
yeah,
I think right now I like her.
yeah. Half
Um,
Filipino, half black, man.
is she?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
This is a little. I'm not one of those person that looks up what, who, what, where of this artist. I don't know. It's just a thing. I don't do it. I'm not sure why. I think I would get overly obsessed with artists if I did that. So I just listen to
Welcome to
music,
my
and
nightmare.
then,
In the
like
words of
the
Alice
very
Cooper.
like the very minimal
Yeah,
knowledge of the artist.
in in the words of Alice Cooper, welcome to my nightmare.
I'm
It's
sure. That's why
and
I said you know way too much
I can't turn it off
about.
either.
Mhm. No, but it's good.
It's combat sports
And
and
music.
music. It's
But it's good to be that well rounded. I think it is.
I wish I were normal.
I mean, that's normal.
I guess. I
Yeah.
guess. Well, for people to normally follow you,
Hmm.
uh, where can they do such a thing? And I noticed you changed your Instagram handle.
I did. I changed my Instagram, my Twitter, and my TikTok
Okay.
to CC_Wade. Because last week someone was like, "Where's Wade?" So in my mind, they're
Mm,
thinking it's a dude, Oh, because he did think it was a dude. So he was
Okay.
waiting for Wade to come on. And mine used to say CC272. There is no Wade in there. And I was like, oh, maybe they should change that to a Wade. So they can see the woods and they can see the Wade.
Eh.
So, eh, eh,
Yeah.
eh.
To quote the old guy in the barbershop in Coming to America. Yeah. Which I
Mm-hmm.
think is Eddie Murphy in
It is Eddie
whiteface.
Murphy. They're all Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy.
What couple are Arsenio Hall?
Okay.
A couple are Arsenio.
For the most part, though.
Yeah. Well, for the
But
most part. Oh, good.
but yeah, that's where you can find me. Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram.
Yeah, and I'm Courtney Woods on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. There's where you can find the principal podcasts. There's a link tree in the description with all the stuff. Instagram, Twitter, Snortfart. I, that's something that I just made up in my head. That's a
Very
social media
principal.
platform that if it doesn't exist right now, I'm gonna probably get with Chat GPT and fucking figure out a way to write a
Smart
code
fart.
for Snortfart, so I could be Courtney Woods on. Follow me on Snortfart. Hell yes. But until that exists, I'm recording the woods on all the other things that aren't snort fart. And I believe tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have a brand new After 83 Weeks with Steve Kaufman, Christy Olson, and unfortunately George Hermosa will not be with us. But you got to settle for me. So there we go. That's at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And then at 11 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Voodoo in the Woods. We're going to be actually covering Bellator because there's not a UFC for another week or so, right? So we're going to cover this upcoming Bellator that is taking place at the Forum this Saturday. The final match, the final title fight of the great Fedor Emelianenko as he takes on the reigning, defending Bellator heavyweight champion Ryan Darth Bader. So we're gonna break down the whole card and probably potentially looking into the last Emperor's career as he marches to the cage for one last campaign for a heavyweight title of a major promotion. So you're not going to want to miss that. But if you forgot all of that, and I'm sure you would, it's all in the link tree, folks. So there you go. This is the Woods and Waves podcast. You guys fucking be cool. Thank you guys for joining us, and we are